Welcome, one and all, to Dreadful Frights at the Backlot, Perth, presented by Perth horror fans. I'm your host, Soxy the Salacious Spectre. We begin tonight by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging leaders. Tonight's feature presentation is The Invisible Ray. This 1936 American science fiction horror, which came into existence when Universal Pictures' production of Bluebeard, starring both Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, never started production. And because Universal wanted to release a film with the two stars by the end of 1935, they quickly hired director Stuart Walker and screenwriter John Colton to make The Invisible Ray. However, this was during a time when it was being reported that Universal was potentially going to be sold, and a lot of pressure was being put on Walker, who became dissatisfied with Colton's script, and after the denial of his request for a 3-day delay before production was set to begin, he left the production, stating that while he was enthusiastic about the film's story and its cast, he did not feel that he could do the studio or himself justice under their conditions which had suddenly come up, and that he'd suggested that another director would be better for the assignment, as it was not just a matter of him walking out. Walker was soon replaced by Lambert Hillier, who ended up completing the film both well over the original set production time and $68,000 over budget. Despite the well-known fact that Karloff and Lugosi didn't get along well together, there was still a lot of fun had on set. During an interview in 1986, starlet Francis Drake famously recalled the time when the entire cast and crew decided to play a practical joke on Karloff, who was raised up onto a platform that was intended to lower him down into the radium pit in one of his scenes. Everyone waited until he was at the highest point before breaking for lunch and leaving him up there. Thankfully, it was reported that he was a good sport about it in the end. That scene was later reused in the 1939 Universal serial The Phantom Creeps, starring Bela Lugosi himself, with Karloff essentially doubling for Lugosi in the sequence. Those with a keen eye for cinema may also recognize the church in this film, as it was the recycled set of the cathedral from 1923's Universal production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And while the film's score, composed by Franz Waxman, is mostly made up of original material, it also contains a smidgen of cues from 1935's The Bride of Frankenstein. And now, The Invisible Ray.